Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to Lake Pro Tackle. Here we've got a bunch of rods, reels, tackle that you'll really enjoy. Today's video, we're gonna be going over a couple brand new baits to the store, guys. But before we hop into that, head over to the social media, Instagram and Facebook. I'm giving you updates all the time on what comes in the store. So if you're following along, you already probably know what this is. You've already seen them, and that's good on you. But if you aren't, go check it out. Lake Pro Tackle is our handles on Instagram and Facebook. Of course, follow us here on YouTube. Hit us with a subscribe, maybe a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Follow along, we've got fishing reports and stuff like that. And of course, lakeprotackle.com, guys. Everything you see behind me, all these rods, some reels, accessories, tackle, of course. We've got a whole bunch of it. A lot of it is very exclusive to the store here that you can't find anywhere else. So go check it all out, lakeprotackle.com. We've got a big sale going on right now. Buy one, get one half off Zimmer glide baits. We cannot be more excited to be working with Zimmer Bait Company. Their glide baits are amazing. We're getting rid of some of this older Gen 1 stuff, and we're gonna be getting some Gen 2 stuff as well as some brand new colors. The Gen 2 stuff is really cool. Go give them a follow, Zimmer Bait Company, guys. All right, let's go ahead and hop into it. We're gonna run through these pretty quickly. We've got a whole bunch of different colors. I'm not gonna run through all the colors of these baits because there's just so many of them and it will take quite a long time. But we're gonna be talking about Geecrack today, or Geecrack, however you wanna call it. This stuff right here. Now this bait company is actually out of Japan. What's super awesome about him is that, you know, Alton Jones Jr. is literally like one of one American angler to be sponsored by these guys. And, you know, he has definitely outdone himself this past year on the Bass Pro Tour, catching tons of fish, placing really, really highly. And he's just a super awesome guy. So Alton Jr., shout out to you, because you are the reason we got these in the store here. So, of course, probably the most notable bait from Geecrack is the Bellows Gill, and we've got a bunch of different sizes here. We're gonna open up a couple packs and show you them. You know, kicking it off, guys, we've got the size 2, or the 2-inch version in the Bellows Gill here. Now, they have different codes for like their different colors. So like Yamamoto has their different numbers, like 315 or whatever. These are the same thing. This one here is number 5. It's in a green pumpkin color, and you can see here it comes 7 to a pack in these small sizes here. And this is kind of like your baby size. This is going to be great on something like a drop shot, even like a little tiny Ned rig, guys. This is going to be a very, very finessey bait right here. You can check that out. It is so small. You're going to have a hard time getting a very big hook into this one. But these here can be super deadly, especially around spawn time and post-spawn when the bluegill are hatching, everything's kind of hatching around, and the bass are hunting up shallow. They can easily find these. Now, if you're fishing clear water, it's a great bed fishing bait. You know, the Bellows Gill, as we move up in sizes, they're going to get a little bit more action on them, of course, just because of size. But these here, super, super deadly on something like a Ned rig or something like that. So again, 7 to a pack in the 2-inch size. Moving on, this is kind of the size that everyone likes to fish, especially if you don't have great big ones or you've got some real clear water. Now, I will say, you can't smell it through the camera, but if you smelled these before, they honestly smell like Fritos or popcorn. It's got kind of like a wheat, or I guess like a corn smell. You can kind of see in this bag here, all that, what looks like butter almost in these packages. But what they use on these is called Super Amino. And it's just like a scent that they came up with, kind of like how bait fuel works. You know, bait fuel doesn't really smell like anything that you would think would attract fish. You know, bait fuel is kind of that, basically on an amino level, molecular level that resonates in the fish's mind, essentially. But this is gonna be the 2.5-inch size. These here come 6 to a pack. Check them out on the tray there. Super sexy as I just dropped them all on the ground. Let me get one here and I'll pick them up later. But this is gonna be the same color code as the last one right there. So this is again, this is the 2.8-inch size. This is a great size on a like size 1 hook on a drop shot, this is gonna be perfect. You can Texas rig this. This is a great Ned rig bait, especially on around an 1/8 to 1/4 ounce Ned rig head. Now it does have enough plastic in it to where it's not gonna rip super, super easy. And this is kind of the one that I'd start with on a drop shot if I am gonna be drop shotting here in Texas. If you're up north, again, great bed fishing bait. We've got a whole bunch of different colors. You can find them all online. I'm probably just gonna leave those there. I'll pick them up later. Next up, guys, we got the 3.8. So we're making a big jump. So we went from 2 to 2.8. Now we're making the big 1-inch jump to the 3.8. And these actually get a whole lot bigger comparatively when it comes down to the width of the bait. Now, of course, in a gill presentation, these are gonna be a lot taller to imitate a bluegill a whole lot more. We've got these guys here, and it comes, I'm not gonna hold up that package again because I don't want them to fall on the floor, but these come 5 to a pack. This color here is really, really cool. It's gonna be like a sapphire blue on one side, and it's gonna be a kind of black and blue flake on the other side. Now I'm gonna hold up the 2.8 and the 3.8 right next to each other. Hopefully it's focusing on it right there. Yeah, there we go. So you can see there's a huge size difference in terms of the width and the length. 3.8 is a super popular one on Texas rigs, free rigs, and other stuff like that where you are dragging it around, around cover. You know, dock fishing with these is super awesome, especially when the bluegill start moving up under those in the fall time. Another great way to fish this, like I mentioned, is a free rig. You know, the free rig and all these ribs on this bait here are gonna allow a free rig to really, it's gonna have some good hang time, kind of float back down, and it's a great presentation that not a lot of people in your area are probably fishing. So Bellows Gill 3.8 is one of my favorites again, guys. There we go. Focus, focus. Moving on to the Big Daddy Bellows Gill, guys. This is the 5.8. So moving on from a 3.8 to a 5.8, these come 3 to a pack, and these are just insanely big. So here's my hand, right? And here's this Bellows Gill. This thing is huge. It's got a ton of plastic on it. I think this thing, I think I weighed it earlier. I think it was like 1.5 ounces almost for just the bait here. Now the nose of this bait is also, let me shout this out, the nose of this bait is actually very, very hard. So when you do put a screw lock in here with a beast hook, or if you put this Texas rig, you know, it's not gonna easily open up on this headpiece right here. So you can Texas rig it very, very easily. Carolina rigging this on a big hook can be super deadly. Again, just kind of flipping it around on like a flipping rig, that is one way that I'd love to fish it. And there you go, it is massive, guys. Just take a look at that. This one is a really cool color. It's like a green pumpkin purple, and it's got red flake, black flake. This is almost like a blue flake power worm on this side, where it's got kind of a purpley and blue flake color on it. So this one here, guys, 5.8 Bellows Gill, absolutely insane that we can go from this one here and size all the way down to something like this. Focus, there we go. Look at that size difference, guys. So moving on, we've got a bunch of other stuff for y'all. We've got some gill swimmers. Now these here are gonna be in the 4.2 inch. Everything here is just covered in this scent, so I'm gonna smell like Fritos the rest of the day probably. But these swimmers here are super, super cool, so check them out. You're gonna wanna be using either a, just a swim, like you can put these on a swim jig, a chatterbait. It does have a little pocket for your hook to slide into right there. Oop, almost dropped it, there we go. So here's a full look at the bait, guys. It looks like just a tall swim bait pattern. You know, it's kind of mimicking a gill. This, again, it's called the Bellows Gill Swimmer. So it's basically a Bellows Gill with a little paddle tail on it. You know, again, when it comes down to fishing these baits, you know, these Japanese baits, guys, these fish around here in Texas, haven't seen them. I guarantee you most places where you're living, they probably haven't seen them. And it's just a super awesome way to get some more bites. Now, I believe all these retail for $9.49, and we're super excited to have them in because where else are you gonna find something like that, guys? Check that out. We've got a few colors in the swimmer gill. So one thing again is that you're not moving a ton of plastic. The top is cut in half. So you can easily put a beast hook in here, or I guess just a swim bait hook. You don't need a beast hook. You can put a swim bait hook in here. You can put just your traditional jig head, and you're gonna be able to catch a ton of fish this fall on that guy right there. So the gill swimmer, it's one of my favorite new swim baits that I'm trying out. It does have a great tail action, and of course, all the ribs on the bait flutter as well and create a secondary action that those fish just haven't seen before. So let me get this one in the package here. And you're gonna look super cool on the boat as well, or on the bank, guys. Wherever you're at, you're gonna look super cool with this orange packaging. I mean, tell me that's not super, super cool. All right, moving on here, we've got our second to last product, and this is the Bellows Shad, guys. Now the Bellows Shad, we only have one size, 3.8 inch, and you cannot find these a lot of places. I guarantee you any other retailer is probably sold out of most of the colors. We just got these in a couple days ago, and if you're following the social media, guys, you would know. But these Bellows Shads have been super popular for Alton Jr. On the Bass Pro Tour. He is catching a ton of fish where most other pros are not catching fish, and he is whooping the field. So these Bellows Shad are gonna be a lot slimmer profile. So I've got the 3.8 here, and I've also got a 3.8 on the ground in front of me, but here we go. So the Bellows Shad is gonna be a little like hair longer when it comes down to the actual size of it, but it's a much skinnier profile. It's gonna be more of your shad profile. It's gonna, well, that's what it's called. It's a Bellows Shad. It's mimicking shad, but you know, of course, you can use these in a lot of different ways. The Bellows Shad originally, from my understanding, a lot of people were throwing this on bladed jigs and stuff like that. Now you can also throw these on traditional jigs and drag them, Carolina rig. This is probably gonna be one of my new favorite Carolina rig baits in this 3.8 version. You know, I can use a 2-aught, maybe a 3-aught hook on this, and that tail is still gonna have a lot of wag. And of course, all these ribs here are gonna keep moving around. One of my favorite colors, guys, I didn't grab it, I don't know why I didn't grab it, is the honeydew color. It's gonna be like a chartreuse and white in this Bellows Shad, and it's super, super cool. So the Bellows Shad, guys, again, check that out, a lot skinnier profile. Super, super cool. Now you can rig it up a whole bunch of different ways, guys. There's not one correct way to do it, but I highly recommend you to throw this on something new. Try a free rig, try Carolina rigging with it, maybe even put it on like a swing head jig, like a wobble head or something like that. Bellows Shad, guys, this one here is AJ's Juice. It's gonna be green pumpkin, purple, black flake. Super cool color. He did a great job on that one. And the last one we have today, guys, is going to be the IMO Ripper. Check those out. So this is gonna be in the category of the gravity baits or poop baits, guys. It's a very, very heavy bait. Now they also make one that is on back order right now that is this exact look, right? It's gonna look exactly like this, except it's gonna have the little jig skirts going out of it, and it's just gonna provide a little more action. But these here, again, are gravity baits, poop baits. Throw them out there, let them sink down. They're very, very heavy at 5/8 of an ounce. They're just gonna go sink down, kind of like poop, to sit there. And you know, fish eat it for whatever reason. I think the scent definitely helps a lot too. But these rippers have this little pintail on them. It's pretty cool. Check that out. And that tail is just gonna kind of wobble, help balance the bait out as it goes vertically down to the bottom. You know, you're gonna want a pretty beefy hook with these. The plastic is really thick, and there is a little bit of a hook slot here, so a size 3 to size 4 extra wide gap hook is gonna be what I would throw this on, and it is very stiff. It is full of salt, guys. But these IMO Rippers, guys, check them out along with the Bellows Gill, Swimming Gill, and all the other cool stuff that we have from Geecrack. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna clean up all these Bellows Gills on the ground in front of me. I hope you have a wonderful day or night. We'll see you next time, guys, at Lake Pro Tackle.